After I hit this volley, I knew something was wrong. It was 3-2 in the first set of the Grade 4 final, and during the change of ends, it happened. I collapsed hard. 7 matches had led me here, but now my body was giving up on the 8th. Was I about to throw away my shot at winning my first LTA tournament, or could I push through? Here's how the wildest paddle tournament of my life unfolded. So, the story all begins when I woke up. The club at Waltham Abbey, as it stands today, doesn't have any covers over the courts, so it's completely open. Knowing that, you don't want to see that it's been raining overnight, and the weather app is telling you that there could be some more rain. Lovely stuff. Anyway, I got ready, met with my partner, who I'll introduce in a moment, and we arrived at the club. And this is Tim. I've done a whole bunch of tournaments with Tim when I first started playing LTA tournaments, but we haven't played together for a little while. The skies looked pretty moody, and at this point, as we entered the club, I had no idea what kind of day we were in for. Just to let you know as well, this tournament was under fast 4 rules. So sets are the first to 4. If a set is at 3-all, then it goes to a tiebreak to 7. And if you're at 1 set all, then it's a championship tiebreak to 10 to decide the match. This particular tournament saw us start in a group stage, where if we got through that, then it'd be the round of 16, quarters, semis, and then the final. So let me share with you the exact wild journey I went on to even get to where I collapsed and what happened afterwards. Some of the match highlights you're going to see are pretty crazy. First match then was against Harry and Andrew. Now going into this one, we knew it was going to be a bit of a battle. And right from the off, it was pretty clear that we weren't quite settled and they punished us. Even when we won points, it never felt comfortable. Harry and Andrew were just locked in. They didn't give us much for free. They were moving well, placing the ball smart, and we just couldn't find a rhythm early on. We were chasing from the start. And when you're playing catch-up, every mistake feels bigger than it is. This was one of those matches where the court felt heavy, the conditions were a bit greasy from the light rain for both teams, but just not enough to stop play, of course. Just enough to make it a little bit awkward. An epic forehand down the line there from Harry paves the way for Andrew to close out the first set on the tiebreak, albeit with a little confusion all round. Losing that tiebreak hurt. We knew we hadn't played to our level, but credit to them, they didn't let us in. But second set, we turned up. We stopped playing safe and we started going after it. We started hitting cleaner, moving faster, and suddenly we were in control. We started to flip the energy and we were starting to dictate points instead of react. The belief came back. And at 2-1, we got a break that took us to 3-1 before we closed out the set with another confusing set point. Fortunately as well, that momentum we built, we carried that straight into the final championship tiebreak. And this time, we weren't letting go. At 9-7, we just needed one more point to finish off the match, and we finished the job. First match of the day, and we'd already had to dig deep. It wasn't pretty, we were rusty, but we came back from a set down, found our level, and won ugly. And talking about winning ugly, in our second match against Sean and Simon, we were getting completely outplayed. From the first ball, Sean absolutely dominated us. He came out playing fast, precise, and aggressive. Honestly, we couldn't handle it. Even when we tried changing our approach, hitting more to Simon, Sean was everywhere, pouncing at the net, picking us apart. Every time we thought we had an opening, Sean closed it immediately. It was genuinely tough to even feel like we had a chance. They quickly went up a set and a break, and it felt like everything was slipping away. We were down, frustrated, and struggling to find answers. But we made a decision right then. Just keep fighting, 1 point at a time, even though it felt like an uphill battle. At 2-love down in the second set, we finally found a foothold. We scrapped through a tight game to get to 2-1, then somehow we brought it back to 2-all. Tim held strongly to get us ahead at 3-2, and suddenly we thought we maybe had a chance. But Sean wasn't backing down. He levelled things up again and we were dragged into another tiebreak. And it was a disaster, where we found ourselves down 6-1, 5 match points against us. Honestly, at that moment, it felt over. But this is why you never give up. We took it 1 point at a time. Nothing flashy, nothing pretty, just solid shots, no mistakes. 6-2, then 6-3, 6-4 to 6-5. We played so consistently, under pressure, and it was back to 6-all. At this point, momentum had shifted completely. We dug deeper than we knew we could. 7-6 to us, then 7-all. Then we edged ahead 8-7. I stepped up to serve, heart pounding, and we made it 9-7 to somehow take that second set. And in the championship tiebreak, we dominated. We rejoin at 9-5 with just one more point needed, and against all odds, we closed it out, and we remained top of the group, and now ready for our third match. And that match was against Chris and Ben, and we stepped onto court against these guys feeling confident, and this match turned out to be exactly the kind of change of pace we needed. We quickly found our rhythm, myself and Tim were able to play freely, everything just felt comfortable and good. Chris and Ben battled hard and competed with great spirit, but our momentum was too strong to stop. Points flowed smoothly and we stayed aggressive right until the finish. We wrapped this one up quickly, 4-love, 4-love. After the tension earlier in the first two matches, a dominant win like this was perfect to keep confidence high for what lay ahead. And that dominance, at least for now, continued in our next match against James and Greg. At this stage, we were fully locked in. James and Greg are great guys and solid competitors, but our confidence was growing match by match. We quickly took control, broke early, and kept the pressure high throughout. Points felt controlled, our shots were landing well, and we felt completely in sync. When key moments arrived, we stayed aggressive and closed out another convincing win. Momentum was firmly on our side now. We topped the group and we felt ready for whatever challenge was next. And what was next was the round of 16, and our momentum just kept rolling. Felix and Rory did their best, but we were firmly in control from start to finish. We attacked early, dictated every point, and comfortably closed out another straightforward win. One step closer, confidence growing stronger with every match. Quarterfinals were up next, but this is where things took a darker turn. And this was against James and Ryan. And when I say things started badly, I mean really badly. First game of the match, I felt it straight away. Trying to chase down a lob, I felt the first tiny hint of a cramp, but I shrugged it off. Little did I know what was to come. Ryan and James completely took control early on. We found ourselves down 2-love, then 3-love, and nothing seemed to be working. They weren't flashy players, but they knew exactly how to frustrate us, playing steady, consistent paddle and waiting for our mistakes, which we made plenty of. They closed out the first set comfortably at 4-love. Honestly, I was embarrassed. We'd topped our group, had been playing confidently, but now I was playing some of my worst paddle ever. We needed to change something fast. The second set started just as badly. We immediately went down another break, and at 2-love to them, it felt like we were facing a humiliating exit. That's when Tim stepped in with some advice. Stop forcing things, play their game, stay patient, and let them feel some pressure too. Conditions were getting windier, making patience even more crucial, and my body was starting to deteriorate. It worked though. We clawed our way back into the match at 2-1, then took advantage of some nervousness on their side to break back and level the score at 2-all. Suddenly, we had life again, and we quickly capitalised to go up 3-2. But Ryan and James steadied, bringing it to 3-all and forcing another tiebreak. This time though, we were ready. We jumped out quickly, taking a commanding 5-1 lead. We both played really well to make it 6-1, and despite a brief comeback from them, we closed it out 7-4. We were heading into a deciding championship tiebreak, and I used this time to say something to the camera.
Legs are seizing up and cramping. I don't know how we won that second set. All Tim. Let's play more.
Back into the match now. Championship tiebreak. It was tight early on, but we slowly edged ahead. At 5-3, we sensed they were starting to feel the pressure and we took our chances. At 9-5, match point, inside of a very tentative, nudgy rally, Tim finished it off for us to win and go through to the semi-finals. From being dominated, embarrassed, and on the brink of elimination, somehow we pulled off one of the toughest, scrappiest wins of our lives. But now the physical toll was really starting to show, and I wondered if my body had enough left for what came next.
Just in the Portalo. Just won the quarterfinals somehow. Full praise to Tim for taking me through that. We've got the semis now. I'm cramping up and my fitness is struggling. But we're into the semis. Pretty good. Let's see what happens.
Now, after the quarterfinals, my legs started to cramp badly, but going into the semi-finals against Tom and Tom, things somehow got even worse. As we stepped onto the court, my hand suddenly started clawing up, cramping intensely. Honestly, at this point, I had no idea how I'd get through this match, let alone the final that might follow. From the very first game, I felt limited. My movement was slow, heavy, and painful. I relied heavily on Tim, who took charge of covering more of the court and controlling the rallies. I just tried to stay steady, make no mistakes, and pick smart shots. Somehow, despite the discomfort, we managed to hold serve early and stay ahead. Every point felt tough, my legs and hand cramping intermittently, but we dug in deep. Tim was rock solid, and we built momentum, breaking serve crucially at 3-2 to secure the first set at 4-2. Going into the second set, my body continued to deteriorate, and yet we found ways to battle through the discomfort. And one of those ways being I had to hit a double-handed forehand because my hand was cramping up so badly. Honestly, I've never experienced anything like that before, to where after this point, I literally couldn't even loosen my grip from the racket. And as I said before, I needed to play smart, plus, if I saw an opening or an angle, give it my best to take it so I could finish the point quicker. And whilst the points were scrappy, our determination to reach the finals pushed us forward, which led to us at 3-2 having a chance to secure our spot. And we did it. 6 matches down, 1 to go. Walking off court, exhausted and physically drained, all I could think was how on earth I was going to be able to play another match. But somehow, we were here. 1 more match to go. And unbelievably, we're up against Harry and Andrew once more, the very same opponents we'd faced at the start of this wild tournament. But this time felt entirely different. From the moment I stepped onto the court, I knew my body was hanging by a thread and I was struggling with every step. From the first point, we were under pressure. Harry and Andrew capitalised on my weakened state, swiftly jumping out to an early 1-love lead. And their dominance continued to grow, pushing us to 2-love with ease. It felt as though we were drowning, unable to be a match for them. I was barely managing basic movements and fearing the cramps would intensify at any moment. Somehow though, Tim helped steady the ship and we managed to claw our way back, levelling the score at 2-all. Even as we found our footing, at 3-2 in the first set, during the change of ends, disaster struck. I collapsed outside the court in excruciating pain, severe cramps gripping my legs completely. At this point, it felt like my match and the tournament was truly over. This was just brutal. I remember at the change of ends, me just trying to stretch my legs, and as I did it, my muscles locked. And obviously it's ridiculous to fall to the floor, but genuinely, I couldn't stand. It was absolutely atrocious pain. It's funny really, because in my early 20s, I never had any issues with my fitness or anything like that. But as you get older, I'm 39 now, I can't even get through a whole day of playing paddle without my body shutting down. And the real question is, inside of this final right now, was I even able to continue? Because it weren't looking good. Against all odds though, I got back on my feet and slowly made my way back onto court. Though my movement was severely impaired, I knew I couldn't chase down balls as usual. Every step was agony, my left hand cramping badly still too. And then we were dragged into a first set tiebreak. Tim played brilliantly, taking on the burden of movement, covering extra ground, and giving me space to hit simple tactical shots. We stayed patient, and despite my physical agony, we edged ahead in the tiebreak, clinching it 7-5. With some momentum, we now carried ourselves into the second set, quickly gaining an advantage and moving ahead 3-love. Harry and Andrew, they weren't finished. They fought back and forced another tiebreak at 3-all. With my body nearly shutting down, each point became a mental and physical marathon. We started well, taking an early lead in the tiebreak, but Harry and Andrew continued pushing us hard, refusing to give up. Every point was tense, every rally a monumental struggle. At 6-5, with the match and the entire tournament on the line, Tim stepped up to serve. My legs barely functional, yet somehow we held firm. We kept our cool, and as the final shot from Andrew went into the net, we secured the victory. From collapsing in pain earlier in the match, convinced I couldn't continue, to standing victorious, it felt surreal. My first ever LTA tournament win. Massive shout out to Tim, who played an absolute blinder, and to those who helped me when I was cramping. As I was leaving the club, I turned my camera on to share with you guys my raw thoughts.
Yeah, just won the G4, and honestly, I don't know how that happened. Things are a bit hazy, so I'm gonna have to look back at the footage to see what happened, but like, I know that we lost first sets in a fast four, had to go to championship tiebreak. I know that we were down 4, 5, 6 match points in one match. I know that we lost a set in the quarterfinals, first set 4-love, and I think we were 1 or 2 love down, like with a breakdown. And somehow we managed to come back and win those matches. And then I started having the cramp, insane. You know, in the semis was insane. In the final, truly mad, because I think it was maybe still the first set, and I had to go on the floor. I say I collapsed, but I had to go on the floor. Like, the pain was freaking unbearable. So yeah, there's something in me that's I feel like I was hydrating like crazy, you know, and I thought I ate really well throughout the day. Obviously there's some work to do for me on that front, and I was hobbling along, you know, any sudden movements just would create a lot more crazy pain for me. So having to change the way that I was playing, really. You know, it was no point. Like, Tim was great. Tim was taking, you know, a lot of the hard work, you know, a lot of the movement. He just pulled it out of the bag, and the bits that I had to do, I had to just be smart, give myself time, and if I see the angles, take the angles. And admittedly, there was times where I just needed to finish the point, because I was literally couldn't walk at certain points. But yeah, I am buzzing with the victory. So if you've liked this video, drop me a like. If you've loved the video, actually, drop me a like. Drop me a comment, share this video even, and of course subscribe. And of course, even more so, I will see you in the next one.